Hi, everybody. My name's Amy Downs. I am an Ipswich Town fan, currently based up in Yorkshire. So games are unfortunately a rarity for me, but still the highlight of my existence. I've been an Ipswich fan since I was 10. I was a season ticket holder for 15 years, and over the years have become a passionate fan despite our terrible past 2 decades. Amongst that, I have learnt what it is like to be a female football fan, and have shared quite a lot on my social media about what that is like. Unfortunately, even in 2021, you are still singled out for either special treatment or for very unkind treatment. I've been picked on, trolled, had sexist abuse about my children, which you just don't see as often the other way around. Being a female voice amongst a male-orientated world is a terrifying thing sometimes, but also a really important thing because whether some men like it or not, there are lots and lots more women going to the game. As an Ipswich fan, I think generally we're a pretty balanced fan base. Certainly at home games, there's a good mixture of genders, and even at away games, I'm definitely not the only one who goes. And because of that, as Ipswich fans, I think generally, particularly again at home games, I feel pretty safe and pretty comfortable. But after going to Accrington Stanley away, which we lost again, God knows why I made that trip. Having been to that game recently, and with the nights getting darker, arriving back at about 9, it wasn't massively late, but it was late enough to be concerning. It occurred to me that my male counterparts perhaps don't have to worry so much about how to get home from a match. I caught the train with a friend. So, I was doing what I could to remain safe. And the last part of that journey was terrifying for me, whilst trying to get a cab, but get myself to somewhere that was safe to wait for a cab, and so on. So that has led to me wanting to write an article on women's safety at games, because actually, although that particular example is coming home, and that might have happened from a night out or even from work when the nights are dark, actually football is a place that as a woman you can feel very uncomfortable, and you do receive a lot of sexist behaviour. Sometimes it isn't even apparent, I think, that it is sexist behaviour, but behaviour that makes you feel uncomfortable. Sky Sports News, this is what I'm, the main reason I've decided to do this article completely off the ad hoc today, is Sky Sports News have just revealed that a survey has revealed that 1 in 5 women have received unwanted male attention at games. And to be quite honest with you, it nudged me into very quickly. It was a Football Supporters Association survey, and just wanted to check what FSA stood for there. So it's nudged me into wanting to comment because it's something that I really care about, and actually something that I'm working on at the moment because of the experience I had at Accrington and the recent murders of Sarah Everard. The fact that we as women are being advised on how to stay safe rather than working on how to stop men taking advantage and abusing women. I want to lead that conversation and make sure that we are considering what needs to be done about these statistics. So I have an article coming up in the Kings of Anglia, which will be, so follow my social media to see that one coming out soon. I've also got a few podcasts planned where I want to discuss this in more detail. I've collected stories from other female football fans, and the general consensus, I think, is very much what I have felt, in that at home games we feel safe because we are with people we know, but travelling to games alone or travelling to away games can often be really intimidating. So looking forward to sharing those stories and those opinions so that people know that it isn't just me that worries about this. But I just wanted to jump on, mainly because of the response to the article. For me, it was a massive relief to see such a high profile publication talking about this, and a survey that is starting to give evidence of the anecdotal things that we have seen. There has been a lot of abuse online, on Twitter in particular, where female journalists have received a lot of grief, and it just, it seems to be so much more than it ever would be for a man, and it is always sexist as well. All you need to do is take a look at the tweet from Sky Sports News this morning promoting that article. The responses to it are dismaying, if that is even a word, to the point that Sky Sports News have actually had to stop replies, presumably to try and stop these conversations and this abuse continuing. So it is a perfect example of what it is like within the football world. One thing I would like to say is that within my working world on social media, I'm a social media manager, so I'm constantly on social media for work. If I'm not on my phone for work, then I'm on my phone for football. And the difference between the two communities, the two timelines, I always say this: my Twitter timeline for work is respectful. You're able to have conversations. People are a lot more perhaps professional, but just in general kinder. Whereas when I go onto my football Twitter timeline, the difference is phenomenal, with arguing and nastiness, and it is definitely a much more male timeline, and perhaps one where men feel more empowered and strong and on top. So that area becomes their place to vent, to look like the big man maybe, and that is why often we as women who speak up in that circle can get put down quite quickly. So just as an example, to read through some of the replies that the Sky Sports News tweet have had, there's several sort of jokey responses. Someone said Ronaldo has been at it again. Another person that I'm just looking at now has said, I blame Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer. So what frustrates me is this is not something to joke about. This is not the place. And I know that it's banter, and I get that. And perhaps, I don't know, if I was talking in a pub, I might have chuckled, but I don't know if I'd have done it to be polite rather than actually finding it funny, because I do think that dismissing it with jokes is part of the problem. And we really need people to take it seriously, because the person making the joke may take it seriously, but the person reading it may not, if that makes sense. So they may think there are plenty of people, believe me, out there who do not take sexism in football seriously. So they see a joke like that, and that kind of adds to that morale, if that makes sense, to that value. Let me have a look at some of the others. Nothing wrong with playing in the hole. Again, more like typical making jokes out of it. A woman here, it's not surprising, actually. There are very, very often women that say, oh, it's not a problem, which I find really frustrating, when you've literally got a survey there of women telling you that there is a problem, to then have other women turn around and say, well, it's not a problem for me, so it shouldn't be, you shouldn't think it's a problem. I find that absolutely infuriating. But she has said that the survey is incomplete when men experience the same thing. The whataboutism is exactly what is wrong with society at the moment. We need to listen, we need to empathise, and we need to see what we can do to make a difference. I saw one that was about unwanted physical attention, and they'd said unwanted, like, trust me, it's not wanted. And saying that, it's like saying that a woman like dressed wrong, so she deserved to be raped, if that makes sense. That's a horrendous thing to think. But saying one of my main issues that I find when I'm out of the football is men do chat me up. I don't want to say that to sound pig-headed. I am the least arrogant, least confident person you could meet. I do enjoy going out to the football. I do enjoy chatting to other fans, but the consensus that is then open to them chatting me up, saying inappropriate things, making me feel uncomfortable. And I have to kind of stand and take it, because if I say anything, then I'm going to start an argument, and I don't want to be doing that, especially not when I'm amongst my fellow fans. So when I saw that tweet that said unwanted attention, no, it is unwanted. No woman ever, ever wants to be hit on at the football. If she's a fellow football fan, she is not there to pick up men. She is there to enjoy the football, just like you. If she is not a football fan, being around a bunch of drunk football shouty men is not going to be attractive to her. She's going to want to keep her head down and stay away. And I just think I don't go to the football to pick up men, so why would you assume I am? And you're not, are you going to the football? Perhaps it's because you're going to the football to pick up women. I don't know. But we as women are not going to the football to pick up men. That is not our thing. That is not what we're doing. And that is not what we appreciate, the attention in that way. Also, it's really not a great place to chat a woman up and expect something out of it just on that one occasion. Anyway, that the lady again that replied earlier that infuriated me has said that the Football Supporters Association has to reveal this figure with genuine proof. Well, you've just got to survey. Like, you have the proof right there. And also, it's then backed up with the anecdotal stories that you see online. Check out Her Game Too for more on this. I find it absolutely incredible that anybody is doubting this when we have so many examples of it. There's lots and lots and lots of others, but as I say, Sky Sports News did have to stop the comments on that. So I'm jumping on to say, to share one final story that having shared on my Twitter that I've got this article coming up, and I'd love to speak to fellow football female fans about their experiences at the football. I have seen comments about my article about Amy getting on a high horse about feminism again, and how I'm making a mountain out of a molehill and things like that. Well, I hope that this article will justify why my article coming up and my passion for this topic is so important. So if you are watching this on replay, please do let me know how you feel. Are you a female football fan? Have you ever felt uncomfortable at a game? Are you not a football fan, but have you felt uncomfortable around football fans? I know my best mate has shared this with me a lot. She hates football fans, which drives me potty because I'm a great football fan. But that is because of experiences she's had from a group of football fans, from groups, plural, of football fans on trains and out and about in city centres and things like that. Or if you are a man, have you ever thought to yourself, I wonder if that woman feels safe? There's lots and lots of examples coming up, as I say in my article, of why women feel unsafe. And what I'd love to do as well is get the conversation rolling about what we can do to make it safer. So let me know what you think. There's some really great suggestions that I've had. I would love to hear some more from everybody else. Thanks for listening, and I will speak to you soon.